Ooh. Um. Oh God! Don't tell me I'm gonna brain fart on him too. Um. I just. Where is my brain? Okay. Coming to terms. An influential Ishgardian wishes to meet the Warrior of Light, and Alphino would like nothing more than to oblige him. We have been blessed with a rare opportunity, Lavenza, an audience with an ambassador of the Holy See of Ishgard. We are Amric. Why? we are to treat with Sir Amric, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights in Camp Dragonhead. It is considered a great honor to serve the Holy See directly as a Temple Knight. Uh, Needless to say, their leader wields tremendous political influence. We would be wise to court his favor. For that reason, I consider your attendance essential. If Ceramic wishes to meet the woman behind the legend, I would not deny him the pleasure of your company. The antecedent should see the wisdom of this plan when you request her permission to accompany me to Kurthis. I don't need her permission. Mayhap you feel this to be a waste of your talents, which could doubtless be put to nobler use. If so, I should remind you that more good can be accomplished with the stroke of a pen than the thrust of a sword. Yeah, Amric, like, I don't know why. It just is as it is. Like, it's not like Amric is not, like, a consistent, like, big part of the story. Like, from here on out. And any other time you asked me, I would have gotten it, but a meeting with an Ishgardian ambassador, by all means, I think it is a wonderful idea. We have received no reports of etheric disturbances or unusual beast tribe activity of late. If Alphino believes your presence may help him to secure more favorable terms, I see no reason to deny him. Antecedent, I take it Lavenza has explained the situation? She has. Yet, welcome though these overtures are, I cannot help but wonder what prompted them. The Ishgardians have spurned all contact with other city states for decades. Why reach out now? Would that I knew. The question of their motives is one to which I have given no small amount of thought. Alas, I know no more than is generally known. The notoriously reclusive nation of Ishgard, situated at the center of Abalathia's spine, ruled by the Ishgardian Orthodox Church, at the head of which presides the Archbishop. Members of the original Eorzean alliance, formed in the wake of Alamigo's fall some 2 decades ago. Friends of convenience who withdrew from the alliance as soon as the Imperial fleet was routed in the Battle of Silver Tear Skies. Since which time their borders have remained closed to all outsiders. They have rejected every one of their former allies' calls to reopen dialogue, turning a deaf ear to their neighbors' pleas, even when the calamity loomed large. And on the fields of Cartno, where brave men and women laid down their lives in defense of the realm, their banners were conspicuously absent. I have tried to convince Ishgard to rejoin the alliance at every opportunity. I have explained over and over again that unless Eorzea stands united, we cannot hope to preserve our freedom. One by one, our nations will fall, as once fell Alamigo. And what have mine efforts yielded? Why not? Surely this can be considered a step in the right direction. I should hope so. Rather than the lowly messengers we have been fobbed off with in the past, this time we shall meet with a man of genuine influence. Of course, I am not so naive as to think they come to us out of the goodness of their hearts. We have something they desire, though I have yet to find out what. Probably the Warrior of Light. But such is the nature of diplomacy. They will bring their agendas to the negotiating table, and so will I, along with a handful of incontrovertible truths. The Empire will soon be at our doorstep once more. Indeed, you may be assured that I will expound upon this point and others. Let us depart for Camp Dragonhead, Lavenza. Our old friend Lord Orchefant is expecting us. Since our quest to recover the Enterprise, I understand you have further ingratiated yourself with the man. Excellent work. His fondness may prove useful to our cause. Hello, Miss Smoky Spanda? Panda. Hey, Panda. Thank you for joining me on stream. So we are now heading over to meet Sir Emmerich for the first time. Yeah. No, that's the wrong one. Camp Dragonhead. Well, to meet him for the first time for the second time. Or something like that. Okay, do you think this game is worth trying? I always find that a peculiar question. I mean, particularly asking somebody that's playing the game, and I'm playing New Game Plus right now, so I'm playing it for the second time. Yes, I definitely think it's worth trying. I take that means that you're new to the game. Just as an FYI. Yeah, but some people dislike the game but still play. I mean, that's them. I don't know why you play a game you dislike. I guess if you're invested enough, like you've spent enough time, I don't know. I'm not really like that. Like when I stop enjoying it, I stop playing, which I have done. I've played this game since the A Realm Reborn beta. And I mean, I've stopped playing several times, and sometimes I was convinced that I was quitting the game, but I eventually came back because there was something that drew me back. And if it makes any difference, Shadowbringers was, and I'm sure if you've heard about the game, you've heard about how good Shadowbringers is. So during Stormblood was one of those times I was convinced that like I'm quitting the game. Eventually I came back because they introduced Blue Mage, and Blue Mage was my favorite job from Final Fantasy XI. And then, not too long after that, Shadowbringers came out. After going through Shadowbringers, like finishing the story of Shadowbringers, I was then convinced I will never not play this game. I may take a break from it, but I'll never not play it. Like, the story was so good, it was just like, okay, I've got... Now, granted, they may completely, like, screw it up sometime in the future, and I'll change my mind, but as things are now, there's no way, like, again, I may take a break if there's a lull in content, but... And, I mean, even right now, it's going to be the biggest lull they'll have. Because the last patch we had was a few weeks ago, and we're not getting anything else until November when the expansion comes out. And I don't see myself even stopping for that. But um, yeah, I don't know why somebody would dislike the game and keep playing it. I mean, I'll say this. I'm just looking into new multiplayer online role playing game. Um, I mean, according to all the news that's out there, this is one of, if not the best one right now. Um, I'm gonna reiterate with, I don't know if you've been to Reddit or the official forums or anything like that, but I'm gonna reiterate what you'd be told there. Um, this is Well, here's a question: what other MMOs have you played before? Okay, so you play World of Warcraft. Yeah, I played World of Warcraft. I dipped my toes in it off and on during vanilla, and then Burning Crusade and Wrath. I spent way too much time in the game. I was one of those people. Did hardcore raiding, all that type of stuff. Cataclysm. I played it at launch. Like, did everything there was to do kind of at launch, and then got burnt out. Came back for a little bit in Pandaria. Completely skipped Warlords of Draenor. And I'm not even one of the ones that was just like, oh, this is stupid. I was just playing something else. And since I've come back, I actually enjoy Warlords, where a lot of other people don't. Came back in Legion, really enjoyed that. BFA came out, and I played that kind of the launch period, and then stopped playing and have not been back since. And I've been playing this basically nonstop um, since then. Um, I'll say this: like, this game can be a bit of a shock for people from World of Warcraft, because I would say the biggest draws for the two games are entirely different. Um, and From what I'm gathering from listening to some other like YouTubers like Bellular and stuff like that, like WoW right now is all about like mythic raiding, or well, like mythic dungeons raiding and PvP. Um, Final Fantasy first and foremost, and some people may disagree with this, but I think a majority would agree, is like a single player Japanese RPG game. And certainly when you first start playing the game, it's gonna feel like that because it's heavily story focused. You have to get through the story to be able to do anything else in the game. Um, and A lot of people kind of say it's like a single player JRPG with MMO features. Where like WoW on the other hand is more of just kind of like MMO with some arguably story attached to it. Uh, but yeah, like if you don't want to play an MMO for a story, like you're like, if I want story, I'll play a single player game. I mean, your mileage will vary. Like, I am not one of those people at all. I love story. I love the story in this game so much so that I'm replaying the story on stream. Um, so it's yeah. If you're not into story, I may not be the best to give you kind of the non-story perspective of the game. The game has a ton of other content in it, not just the story, but you will have to go through a multi 100 hour story to get to max level to then get to like whatever the latest stuff is. Along the way, you'll unlock like, the end game, for the given expansions and stuff like that, which are still played. You can still do them. Granted, like the real end game type stuff, um, maybe not as much, at least when you're at level. But there's a ton of extra stuff, kind of side content and everything that um, is available to it. So yeah, I again, the kind of the big thing to note is, do you like story in video games? Because if you don't, I mean, there are people that don't. They skip all the cutscenes, skip all the dialogue, and just rush to the end, and they still enjoy the game. Those are people I don't understand. But um, I mean, if nothing else, that should tell you that there is still content to be had, even if you're not into that stuff. Yeah, the last story heavy game I played was Fable 3. Like, I played Fable 3 4 or 5 times. Okay, well, um, I mean, if you're into story, this has a phenomenal story. I mean, tons of people have put this story up there with, like, at least top five of video game stories, if not top five stories of just all time. And I would be one of those. Um, Shadowbringers is the point that it, like, really just, mind blown level. But it's not like the story isn't good until then. It's just a lot of the story before that is threads that are seeded all throughout that eventually, like, culminate into just an amazing story. And Shadowbringers is the penultimate to, like, the current story that they're working on. Endwalker is going to actually be the ending to that whole arc. And then they've got something else planned after that we just have no idea about. Um, if I also like knowing how people feel about game before I buy it and even free trial it. Yeah, I mean, certainly, even because a lot of people will tell you try the free trial, and but yeah, it's, do you even want to invest that time before you get into it? Um, but there are limitations to the free trial too that can definitely affect you playing an MMO, because to fight off gill sellers and stuff like that, the bots and everything like that, they make it where you can't, basically you can't communicate with anybody really. I mean, you can do it in say chat, but there's a lot of like social restrictions to the free trial. So um but yeah, a lot of people complain. I'll say this, because if you look into the game at all, you may hear people talk about how bad the story is in The Realm Reborn. That's the content I'm playing right now. And over the last 2 weeks, I've just been doing that, focusing on that. And I really enjoy it. But I'm also coming from somebody with the context that knows the whole story afterward. So to me, it's like I'm seeing little things that were seeded, 8 years ago, and being mind blown that it's like, holy crap, like they hinted at this that early on. But I still enjoy it. I still think it's a great story. But what others will tell you, once you get to Heavensward, the first expansion, that's when it really gets good. Again, and it's gonna vary. There's another uh Twitch streamer, YouTuber that recently got into the game. They're called Layla plus Vlad on both, I think, Twitch and YouTube. And they're just coming from WoW. So they have more recent experience with WoW than I do. Um, and they said they enjoyed A Realm Reborn and were kind of like, wow, if this is like the worst part of it, then I look forward to what's coming next. So, I mean, like all given what you've asked and what you've said, I'm somebody that absolutely loves this game, loves the story in it, loves all the non-story content in it, and I mean, I'll say that if this helps, I have 431 days, 14 hours, and 11 minutes in the game, so I enjoy it. Um, but yeah, given I'm definitely recommending it, and then also I recommend the free trial. Um, the again, the free trial does have some social um, restrictions, but that's only really an issue if you have somebody else that like you want to start playing the game with, and even then there's little workarounds. But if you're just gonna jump into it on your own, it doesn't really matter. Just play through the story. Again, you can get all the way through Heavensward, which total content. That's honestly, it's like getting through vanilla Burning Crusade and at least Wrath worth of content for free. Um, so it's definitely worth a try. Sounds like my Overwatch hours. Yeah, I put a lot of hours into Overwatch too, but eventually got frustrated with it, so haven't been back to that for a while. Okay, let's talk to Horshaphant. Ah, Lavenza, ever a welcome sight. Our hearths have been stoked to blazing in preparation for your arrival. It would not do for such a distinguished personage to catch cold whilst enjoying our hospitality. The gesture is much appreciated. I fear I shall ever struggle in cold climes. Ah, good Master Alphino, an honor as always. Likewise, Lord Orchefant. Forgive us yet another imposition. I fear we have relied overmuch on your aid, since you so generously assisted us in locating the Enterprise. Nonsense. Any debt incurred have long since been repaid. Besides, who can say what the future may bring? House Forton may even seek to aid on. House Forton may even seek the aid of your newly formed Crystal Braves. In any case, I am simply delighted that the Holy See is at least willing to grant you an audience. No doubt your discoveries at Snowcloak helped to justify the decision. This recent resurgence in heretical activity is of grave concern to us all. But to the matter at hand, Sir Emmerich arrived in Camp Dragonhead earlier, and I am told he is eager to meet with you at your first convenience. You are doubtless weary from your journey and desirous to rest a while by the warmth of a hearth. But if you are willing to forego such comforts, pray inform the knight stationed outside the intercessory. He will grant you entrance and send word to the other attendees. As inviting as your hearth sounds, I think it best we proceed to the intercessory forthwith. You will find the entrance to the intercessory outside. It's just around the corner to the right. Speak with the guard stationed there when you are ready to begin the meeting. I see no reason to keep Sir Emmerich waiting. Do you? Let us proceed to the intercessory. We have been expecting you, madam. Please take your ease inside, and I shall summon the others.
Have faith, my friend. You need only state your case with confidence and clarity.
Commander Leveilleur, it is both an honor and a pleasure to meet you. I am Emmerich, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights.
Alphinaud Leveilleur, at your service. Your reputation precedes you, Sir Emmerich. I think we will find that we have much in common.
Speaking of reputations, yours towers over us all. Does it not?
It does indeed, Lord Commander.
I am not too proud to admit that I have followed your activities with an interest bordering on fascination. Full glad was I to learn that you would be joining us. Now then, shall we begin?
We know full well that the Garleans will return in force ere long. What is more, we have yet to achieve a lasting victory over the primal menace. The beast tribes continue to summon their gods, and each incarnation is stronger than the last. Ishgard is not immune to these threats. I must reiterate that it would behoove your nation to rejoin the Eorzean Alliance.
Once again, I must respectfully disagree.
On what grounds?
Despite their presence in Kurthus, the Ixal do not concern us. Their territorial claims pertain to Gridanian lands, and it is the people of Gridania whom they harry. Consequently, the Holy See judges this to be a Gridanian affair, and Ishgard does not intervene in the internal affairs of other nations. Even were that not the case, our forces are wholly committed to the Dravanian conflict. We have not the knights to spare. As for the Garleans, we are not ignorant of history. We have observed the rise and expansion of the Empire, and we agree that it is only a matter of time before they resume their campaign in Eorzea.
Then surely it would be in our best interests to present a united front.
Mayhap one day, but not yet. Gaius van Belsar is dead, and the legion of conscripts he left behind lacks the will to fight. We think it highly unlikely that they will emerge from behind the walls of their castra for some time.
Forgive me, but if Ishgard's position has not changed, why did you agree to this meeting?
To meet me.
It was not only as a representative of Ishgard that I came here.
Pardon?
It is not within my power to change Ishgardian policy, regardless of my personal feelings. There is, however, one area in which I may exert a measure of influence. Concerns have been raised over the supplies House Fortin has offered to Revenant's Toll. These have led to calls for restrictions on the provision of aid to foreign powers. I can ensure that the shipments continue unabated.
Sir Emmerich, we would be in your debt.
No, you would not, for I require something in exchange. Of late, there has been a flurry of Dravanian activity, the purpose of which was not immediately clear. However, our astrologians have since observed alarming changes in the heavens. The dragon star waxes unnaturally bright, and there are whispers that it portends the resurrection of Midgard Sorma.
The fallen guardian of Silvertear Falls? That's absurd.
Full many times have I gazed upon the dragon's corpse still wound around the Agrius, and wondered how different our world might be if it yet lived to plague the skies. I do not know, and I do not wish to know, nor does any son of Ishgard. Yet the mere presence of Dravanian forces is not sufficient grounds to send knights to Mordona, whatever our astrologians say. As I told you before, we have not the forces to spare.
But we do. So you will intervene on our behalf if we agree to watch over the Keeper of the Lake.
Do you accept these terms?
I do. I will see that you are kept abreast of any developments. I regret that we could not come to a similar agreement on other matters, but I understand that you are not at liberty to make such decisions. Nevertheless, I hope that what we have accomplished here today will serve to demonstrate to your countrymen that we can work together towards a common goal. Mayhap one day we shall look back on this moment as the first step towards a united Eorzea.
Mayhap we shall, Commander.
What is the meaning of this?
The caravan, my lord. It's been attacked. It was Iceheart, my lord.
What? By the Fury! All our precautions were for naught?
So it looks like we may finally be getting Snowcloak after this. It was good seeing Emmerich again, and of course the whole Ishgardian isolation garbage. I mean, some of it like makes enough sense. It's like Ixals aren't our problem, so we're not going to get involved in that. Like, why make us a target if we're not one yet? Yeah, and then Keeper of the Lake is interesting. For a second, I was like, are we opening up Keeper of the Lake soon? I was like, isn't that like the last dungeon that opens up? Anyway, good cutscene. Thank you all for watching. This New Game Plus playthrough has been a lot of fun. If you've enjoyed it, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And to watch me live, the link to my Twitch is down below. Thank you again, and have a great one.